Well, hello there, my Leo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your Twin Flame reading. Timeless, but time-stamped for January 2020. Welcome to 2020. Happy New Year. I'm actually doing this on January 2nd. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons, now for short. President of DrawingTheCircle Productions, professional witch, professional intuitive, and really happy to be reading to you. I'm also a Leo rising, so I'm sort of in this reading too, though I'm not currently aware of any twin flame contracts going on in the moment right now. I'm sure I'll know by the end of this, or at least in edits, right, when I edit the video. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Please do check the description box below, how to book a reading with me. If you like and subscribe, you can help me get to 1,000 subscribers so I can do Drunk Tarot once a month on Super Live Chat. There's a link in the description box explaining what Drunk Tarot is. It's sort of a promise I've been making, which I won't make good on at least for the first couple of months once I get over 1,000 subscribers. That said, my boys are very active. If you are new to my channel, I have 3 black cats, all males. So they are very active this morning, as though they know it is Mama's first day back at work. Oh, and for my regular subscribers, look, I got my hair cut. I went to Brooklyn for New Year's Eve. Went to Maxwell's for hair. In Bushwick, the guy there who cuts my hair, Luke, is just amazing. We always have a good time, and he's just great. So yeah, it's a lot shorter, but it's what I needed. It was getting out of hand. It's nice and curly again. Boys, must we now? They're fighting on the landing. The stairs are right there to the 2nd floor. Come on, boys. Behave. Figures the Leo reading that the cats. And one of them's a Leo. Excuse me. We've got a feline standoff. Go on. Upstairs. Sorry, I had to give my mom a voice. But it's better that than hearing fighting in the background while you're trying to get your reading. So here we go. Let's get down to business here. In the description box below, there are a couple of videos you might want to check out before watching this if you are new to this twin flame dealio. My definition is based on the work of a redefinition by a spiritual teacher by the name of KAHN. His video, Soul Contracts, Twin Flames, and Soulmates Redefined is down there. I keep that in every video I do so that people can continue to educate themselves on that. My response to that is a video called Clarifying Twin Flames, Soulmates, and True Lovers. The True Lovers part is sort of my vision, my lifelong contribution vision to that, as well as one that I did clarifying the twin flame reads for 2020, how I'm actually doing these readings, because a twin flame contract is different than a soulmate contract. Yes, they are both soul contracts, but the foundation of which are very different. Soulmates, you help each other heal. That's why you have so many soulmates in this lifetime, more than just one. Similar to twin flame, in that you have lots and lots of twin flames over so many lifetimes, many in this lifetime. But the difference is that a twin flame contract, you teach each other how to love yourselves. You teach each other how to heal yourselves, which means you can't, by definition, help each other heal, right? And so many different forms, right? Not just the romantic sexual, the familial. I've been saying all along, my mother and I are definitely a soulmate contract. We've always helped each other heal. My father, God rest his soul, was definitely a twin flame contract. I was never going to be the heterosexual Republican, what's the other word, Catholic that he wanted. I'm a gay professional witch, liberal, I guess is the nicest way to say it. Yeah. So you got what I'm saying, and I had to learn how to love myself, to give myself the love that, by the way, my father could have never given me, and by the way, that no one else could have given me but me, right? Self-love. Just put your hand on your heart every day and just go, hey kid, I love you. Talk to that inner child, because your heart chakra is your inner child, your emotional body, however you want to see that. So that's a huge step towards loving yourself every day, right? Making time for that. So this reading then is about looking at a particular twin flame contract that you made prior to a descent into this life, right before coming into this life with another soul, so that you could learn how to heal. So what this is going to do is show you how to heal yourself in this relationship, how to love yourself in whatever way, shape, or form that the divination system indicates. Cool. We are going to be doing divine masculine, divine feminine, just as a way to differentiate between two parties in a contract. You should be able to identify relatively quickly once we get into the reading which one you are, unless you, like I predominantly define myself as a divine feminine. I just do, but put me around different people. I'm divine masculine, so we're all in that balance, and that balance is fluid. It is not fixed. So we're not talking about bodily gender, just to clarify that. But however, in a twin flame reading, there can be so much mirroring that you can take information from both sides. You'll know how it resonates, how it feels in your body, which brings up another point. This is a general read, not a specific private read. You want a specific private read? You book me. Book me for a half hour or an hour. Facebook chat, Skype, whatever, even over the phone, right? Or face-to-face if you're in the area. I'm also working out of a place called Yogaholic. They have two yoga studios, one in Center Moriches, one in Riverhead. So I am available, and if you're local to Long Island and you know me, we'll meet. I'll make a house call. Cool. I'll even have clients to my house if I know them. What was the last thing? Oh yeah, please remember to breathe. Oh, and check your other signs, right? I do Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, so do check your other signs if this one does not resonate. Cool. Remember to breathe, because the more we breathe consciously, because we have to breathe anyway, you know, being in bodies and all, oxygen, carbon dioxide exchange, the more that you breathe consciously, the more in the present moment you are, the more you're able to actually receive not just the words, but the energy of the reading. Because honestly, as I'm doing it and you're doing it, even though we are in different times and spaces, so to speak, still tuning to the same chi, prana, guidance, grace, inspiration, whatever you want to call it, from the higher realms. It's an interesting way to call it, the higher realms. So if we're both tuned to the same thing, that's what drew you to the reading. I'm just giving words, right? I'm just verbalizing the energy for you with a pictorial story used by Divination System. So it is an art form. So as a Leo, right? Fifth house energy, breathe along with me. Why don't you? Cool. Let's take a nice deep breath. Hold on one second. Sorry, just wanted to check a technical thing. I love a little magic clap out of nowhere, don't you? All right, let's dive in. Nice deep breath. We're going to start with 2 cards from the Caroline Myss Archetype deck, one for the Divine Feminine, one for the Divine Masculine. All the decks that I read are in the description box below. There's a lot of cool stuff in my description box below. Cool. Nice deep breath, my Leos. Here we go. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. It's so good to be back. Please, 1 card to represent the Divine Feminine in this Leo collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract. Time stamped January 2020, but really timeless. Who is the Divine Feminine? What is the dominant archetype, the dominant soul power in the Divine Feminine for this Leo Twin Flame contract? And please, while we're here, 1 for the Divine Masculine in this Leo Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign Twin Flame contract. Timeless, but time-stamped January 2020. These represent the dominant energies, the Divine Feminine, the Divine Masculine. Let's see who we're dealing with here. Ooh, the Knight and the Liberator. Very, very interesting combo, considering the Knight is part of the masculine family, but is representing the Divine Feminine here. The Liberator archetype, I believe, is either the Action family or the Wild Card family, representing the Divine Masculine. Would make sense if it was more the Action, but whatever. It does not matter the family that it's in. We all have all of the families within our archetypal alchemical structure. Speaking of alchemy, every archetype is lead and gold. In this deck, it's shadow and light. I just prefer the language of alchemy. But we all have the lead in the collective unconscious. It just exists that way. Our own personal percentage of it is what we incarnate into heal, right? To lift, bring the shadow into light, right? To alchemize the lead into gold. And in particular, in this twin flame contract relationship. So the shadow attribute of the Knight, K-N-I-G-H-T, allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, romantic delusions. Now, the first part of that, allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, the Dark Knight. Now, not so much the Dark Knight of Batman necessarily, but the Dark Knight, right? The one who really was supposed to stand by the side of Morgan Le Fay. I don't like that telling. Read Mists of Avalon, Marion Zimmer Bradley. I much prefer that telling of the story from the Divine Feminine point of view, of course. But certainly you can see somebody who is in an allegiance, particularly in a tribal dynamic, right? A knight serving a dark king is going to be a dark knight, right? That they're not taking honor into consideration, and we'll get to honor. So the second part of this is if this is a romantic sexual relationship for whoever is watching this, the watcher or the cross-watcher, Leo or otherwise. Romantic delusions. That's certainly a romantic deluded knight. I mean, we are really looking at Don Quixote tipping windmills, right? Romantic delusions, not romantic truth, but we are still learning and experience what the truth of healthy romance is, and that's why twin flame contracts are so very important, because we can't give each other what we want in them, but boy, can we learn what it is that we need and what the truth really is for at least ourselves individually. So a very potent shadow. But the light attribute, loyalty, romance, and chivalry, a love of honor. So they're going to be honorable. They are going to perhaps dedicate themselves to many causes throughout their lives, light and shadow. We all have to learn and grow through that. But for a divine feminine, it's really something that they have to check with their own gut and their own intuition. They may be going along with what everyone else is doing, like, you know, the silly games we play in romance and in relationships in general. It's like, well, I just called them, I can't call back for 2 days, right? Like that sort of thing. To really take the risk and go with the honor, a love of honor, because if you're not going to do an honorable relationship, twin flame, soulmate, or otherwise, what's the point? That the seeds are already planted in the original sowing. If there's dishonor involved, yes, any relationship can be healed with forgiveness, love, and just taking the high road itself. But sometimes all you can do is heal yourself. So keep an eye, if you are the divine feminine here, on the word honor. Loyalty, romance, and chivalry. Chivalry is more than just about holding doors open for people. It is the chivalric code. Go look that up, the code of chivalry, about what you will and what you will not do. Very much the honor code, which is actually stored, in my experience, in the solar plexus, as well as in the experience of Caroline Myss, who authored these cards in her book Anatomy of the Spirit. So when you feel your solar plexus make a knot, it's, for me at least, an intuitive sign that I've got my toes on violating, like right on the line of violating my honor code. Step back, take a deep breath, feel that thing out. Cool. For our divine masculine here, we have got the Liberator. Now, Liberator, obviously one who sets people free from some form of imprisonment, mental, spiritual, physical, literal, financial. So in a twin flame context, the best they might be able to do is liberate themselves, right? Or at least provide an example of someone who is liberated to someone who may be trapped, right, or imprisoned. The shadow attribute, however, imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate. Not a new story, right? We have come to liberate you. Now follow our God or die, right? You know, it's like not great. Like, not great. It's kind of the story of America. Kind of the story of America. The story of America. So keep that in mind, right? The Liberator in that shadow side, very tyrannical. In imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate. Also, the second part here, ignoring legitimate constraints. Like, if you're in a relationship with somebody and they're a recovering alcoholic and you're like, oh, come on, have a drink, it's our birthday, it's our anniversary, it's our whatever. You are ignoring a legitimate constraint, a legitimate boundary. And it's really a sign of codependence, because codependence obliterates boundaries, right? Like, so if you were in any kind of codependent patterning as a kid, maybe you were, maybe you weren't, that codependency just destroys any sense of boundaries. Considering we're not born with them, we have to learn them from the people in our environment, which is why twin flame relationships, though tumultuous, though turbulent, though tricky, though triggery, they are transformative, and they teach us how to set our boundaries. They are invaluable. the light side of the Liberator. Freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. So here, definitely displayed more in the element of air, more in the element of the mind, right? See things differently, think differently, don't crack up, bend your brain, see both sides, throw off your mental chains, woo, ooh, ooh. The brilliance of 80s song lyrics. Howard Jones, bless his heart, still so cute. Would still make out with him, though I think he's married to a woman. What are you going to do? All right, so we've got our two characters, our divine feminine knight and our divine masculine liberator. Let's have a look-see-dooksy. We're going to clarify for the divine feminine using past, present, and future, just a basic timeline from the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, Fiona Morgan. And for the divine masculine liberator, we're going to do the same thing, past, present, future, just 3 cards of a timeline using the Mythic Tarot, Juliet Sharman Burke. Cool, cool. Again, all the decks are in the description box below. Breathe. Remember to breathe. It's so vital in a reading. Slows you down a little so you can not just intake, but also begin integrating and metabolizing the energy and the words, right? The guidance and the grace. So my goddesses, please, 3 cards in clarity, past, present, future. For this divine feminine knight archetype, please, where has she been in this twin flame contract past? We're doing them all face down. 1 for the present. Where is she now in this twin flame contract? There is our present. And where is she headed? Yet to happen, can still change. Where is she headed in this twin flame contract? There we go. We've got our past, present, future. And rather than dive into those, let's get our 3 for the divine masculine face down on the table. So this way we'll just go right across the row. My gods, Apollo in particular, please shed your light, your guidance, your grace. 3 cards, past, present, future, for this divine masculine liberator archetype in this Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, Leo collective twin flame contract with this divine feminine knight archetype. Please, where has he been in this twin flame contract? Where is he now in this twin flame contract? Where is he headed? It could still be changed, but where is he headed in this twin flame contract? There we go. Now remember, I'm using he and she. We're not talking about bodily gender. Just have to have a way of at least mentally saying who is who. Where has she been, our divine feminine? Well, the 5 of Blades. So the 5 of Blades, definitely a card of mental conflict in this deck, or mental change, right? But how happy are we to change the way we think, or perhaps release outmoded, outdated, negative thought patterns, right? So it feels like she has been at storm. Now there is a card in this deck called the Storm. That's a water. This is the element of air, hurricane. So if you think of a thought as a breath, what's a hurricane? And where is the safest place to be in a hurricane? Now people will say, oh, in a doorway, in a bathtub, someplace safe, obviously. But symbolically speaking, in the eye, right? The EYE, but also it's very Alcoholics Anonymous 12-step. Keep it in the eye, right? What am I? This is how I feel. This is how I'm doing. So in a sense, to be the still point amongst all of that air. And I'm feeling this too on this one intuitively. This is a definition I often put with this card, that it's not all our thoughts usually. Yes, there's only one unconscious mind, but oftentimes it has to do with the thoughts and opinions and the well-meaning toxicity of others, right? It's like, well, you better watch out. You better not cry. Oh, sorry, that's Santa Claus. We're in January, thank God. Screw you, Santa. No. Bless you, Santa. I'm such a pagan. I got kissed on Christmas Day, was that? Yeah. Cute guy. Also, guy's name was Mark. Kind of cool how that worked out. We have the same initials. Thank you, Santa. But you can see how people are like, well, watch out. It's like all of that spinning around. So, considering that the knight in the shadow, allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, perhaps that could be part of this shared tribal thing. Where is she now? Interesting. She goes from the 5 to the 7. Here, the 7 of Blades is meditation. So it is, in my opinion, exactly what I was saying, being in the I, the EYE, the I am that I am in the hurricane. Because remember, hurricanes pass, but they do leave a lot of damage. A lot of things that perhaps were standing for a long time will fall, and sometimes, if not often, in terms of belief system, in terms of things that we have carried with us perhaps our whole lives, in terms of this is what is real, that gets uprooted like a tree, as we see in this picture. So that place of meditation, that stillness, that silence, may my silence be a space where conflict does not reside. You feel that? That even if you're in conflict with somebody face to face, if you can just hold, focus on the breath, find the silence and the stillness, you become that space. So you don't have to disagree, you don't have to agree, but you can take a certain stand of peace and silence, saying, I'm not offering any conflict. You have the right to say what you're saying and feel what you're feeling and think what you're thinking. But perhaps for yourself, if you're the divine feminine here. Where is she headed in this? Interesting. The Eight of Cups, the walking away card, right? Cue the music, the Incredible Hulk, the original TV series, Lou Ferrigno. This is traditionally the card of walking away, but in this deck, withdrawal, it's a little bit different. It's just not pulling your energy away from something, it's going into the cave, as you can see. The woman here, yes, there are some cups spilled, not all of them are, sort of following a trail of spilt and full cups going into the cave, representing into the self to do some introspection, which honestly, we've got the 5, the 7, and the 8 here, from the 7 of Blades into the 8 of Cups. That makes sense. A meditative process that brings you deeper into your own emotions within your own body, behind the castle wall of your soul. Pull up the drawbridge for whatever purpose one would think. Healing, right? Twin flame, transformative, learning how to heal yourself. Let's look what's going on with this divine masculine liberator. Well, in the recent past, in this contract, we've got the 3 of Cups. This is the wedding of Eros and Psyche. She had never seen his face. Even after the marriage, for a while, she did not see his face. So this is sort of like a blind wedding in that sense of not really knowing what you're getting into, but nonetheless celebrating it. Which is certainly the case of what we do when we are in relationships with people. Again, whether it's friends, whether it's lovers. I mean, I could say that because we've got the knight archetype there with the word romance here and that love of honor, that this could very easily be romantic sexual, but I just don't feel that's everybody who's watching this video. So be a little loose about that. Keep some space around this being only romantic sexual, because the 3 of Cups can indicate so many different things. I've heard other readers say it's a third-party situation. Well, maybe not. But definitely there was a feeling of friendship here, right? Or at least comity, right? I like that word, comity, like a communal, that this is good, this feels good, and maybe more than one person involved here in terms of a circle of friends. That's why it doesn't have to be sexual, romantic. But coming from the 3 of Cups, pretty good place for this liberator. So lighthearted, considering, we're talking January here, and again, timeless, coming out of the holidays, right? So that makes sense for the past in that sense. But now here we are in the present moment with Temperance, all of that party. It's like, okay, start your rehydration, right? Get back to the gym, start doing your yoga, whatever. Temperance is all about discipline, but to create a balance, right? It's similar to the Justice card, perhaps, but Temperance is often about discipline to find that balance, that maybe perhaps even that still point, like meditation. To love what rises within you is an act of balance without acting on it, right? Like when we get afraid. To do that inner child work, to let the child of your heart have its voice without blasting it all over social media, which is usually what happens if the child gets it ignored long enough, right? It takes over, it possesses us in its pain, and it just blames and screams and tantrums online. Just an example. Certainly you do that in somebody's face. So Temperance here, this is about an act of will, an act of strength in order to perhaps attain liberation within himself, right? So really bringing oneself into balance, but knowing that it takes that's the word I keep getting, is discipline, 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 right? To be a disciple of your own liberation, choice by choice by choice by choice by choice. Where is he headed in this twin flame? Well, Ace of Wands, something new, something passionate, something exciting, and something wanted, right? Element of fire, will and desire, happens to rhyme, very helpful. So definitely moving into something new. So whether this is a new phase of this contract or through the Temperance is able to liberate himself, begin to give himself what he wants, again, just using the gender here for divine masculine, while this one walks away. Perhaps this is concluding. Perhaps this contract is being fulfilled. The divine feminine knight going on her own interior journey. The divine masculine liberator, I'm just going to say because it's divine masculine, coming from a place of Three of Cups and the Temperance, more of an external journey. Like, okay, let's take this opportunity, right? Let's this creative impulse, this attraction, this will, desire, let's go through with that, okay? We've got a couple more cards to put down. That's a lovely little timeline for both of them. This is the newest deck that I am working with, the Healing Mantra deck by KAHN. I mentioned him. He's one of the videos down there, the one who inspired the redefinition for myself personally of Twin Flame and Soulmate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull one for the Divine Feminine, one for the Divine Masculine, read what's on the card as well as just quickly look what's in the book, because it's really brilliant. I call these my cardboard lightsabers because though they are written on cardboard, they really cut through a lot of darkness, a lot of illusion. Keeping in mind that a mantra is like a code. It's not an affirmation. These are mantra cards. The more you repeat them, the more they really help recondition the subconscious mind, which, yes, what affirmations do as well. But they are statements of ultimate spiritual and mystical truth that help liberate you from the illusions, the things that we picked up along the way that were just never, ever, ever true. So the more you say them, you don't have to believe them. Where an affirmation, it's almost like trying to make yourself believe something that's true. All affirmations are usually statements of truth. But it's more like trying to fix things, where a mantra is like, no, I'm just going to like water myself with this. I'm going to breathe this, give myself healthy air, healthy water, healthy earth, healthy sunlight. Yeah, I'm going for the gardening metaphor. I am a gardener. You should see my orchids in January. It takes skill to grow orchids all year long. I do. Nice deep breath here. Let's do this. The voices of the Ascended Masters, please breathe. Ah, my Ascended Masters, please, one card in clarity for this Divine Feminine Knight archetype in this Leo Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign Twin Flame contract for January 2020. Though timeless, please, what is the healing mantra for the Divine Feminine? Not even going to look at it because I want the same for the Divine Masculine, please. The Divine Masculine Liberator archetype in this Leo Collective Sun, Moon, Rising Twin Flame contract for January 2020. Timeless. What is the healing mantra for this Divine Masculine? There we go. All right. On one side of the mantra card is the name of the mantra. The other, that light is just right in my face. It's reflecting off my wood floor. There we go. Can you see? Oh, wow. Oh, he's enlightened. Yeah, because of sunlight. Yeah, so one side is the name of the mantra. The other side, the mantra itself. So let's start. Here we go. This one's intense for the Divine Feminine. Sharing shame. The mantra. When I share my deepest pain, I give myself permission to be. And it does feel like that pain, there it is, right? The mental part of it. Should I talk about this? Should I not? Well, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should. But all that thought going on, really going within, right? In a silent meditation, withdrawal. But then this is really saying, when I share my deepest pain, I give myself permission to be. Sometimes just acknowledging it to ourselves is enough, right? Allowing that child to speak, the wounded child perhaps, the traumatized child within us, the neglected child, the abused child, the codependent child, the child of loss, to let that speak. But of course it does indicate, when I share my deepest pain, I give myself permission to be, sharing with another person. Now certainly that can be through prayer. That's the rite of confession. The throat chakra sacrament, read Anatomy of the Spirit, Caroline Mace, amazing life-changing work for me. But it does feel like this Divine Feminine is in so much pain that probably has nothing to do with the Divine Masculine. The Divine Masculine may be trying to liberate her left, right, and center. She may be triggered as fuck by this Liberator. But to share that. Now, let me read that, because it's not like pages and pages and pages. But what he writes is so quick and so clearing. Hold on. Sharing shame. S. Here we go. When I share my deepest pain, I give myself permission to be. When shame is shared, cycles of victimhood are permitted to heal as you find the courage to speak your truth. Well, courage is a big part of the Knight archetype too, in its light. Since abuse and neglect can only be perpetuated in silence, it is your willingness to step forward and share your life story that helps transform each wound and inspire others to be set free, which is very interesting considering we've got the Liberator in play here too. Once your shame is shared, you are able to honor yourself, love of honor, with the Divine Feminine Knight. Once your shame is shared, you are able to honor yourself with the heightened encouragement, worthiness, and validation that you deserve to receive. This mantra is ideal for revisiting past traumas, because it does happen, and twin flame contracts are notorious for that, right? It's never about the other person. It's about what they are bringing up in you so that you can heal it. So revisiting past traumas, expressing your inner child, huge, great big huge. See, the inner child has all of the secrets, all of the codes to manifest our highest and our best reality, really, everything our hearts desire, because it has the innocence of the heart to take the risk when it feels safe, right? So this is huge, Divine Feminine, if you're the one watching this. And finding self-acceptance. Now, I do want to say, even if you're the Divine Masculine, working that mantra will help you heal yourself in and about this Divine Feminine, right? So it is holographic in that sense. There are only two mantras, but it doesn't matter which side of the table, or the spread, I should say, that you're on here, the mantra will be helpful, healing, and effective for you either way. So who do we have for the Divine Masculine? Inviting Ecstasy. Such a fun card. And you know what? I can say that that's really in his spread. Three of Cups. Temperance, right? Like getting his shit together in the present moment of this contract. But then moving on to the Ace of Wands. I am worthy of all the pleasure my heart desires. Isn't that fabulous? I am worthy of all of the pleasure my heart desires. Now now you can feel the difference in mantra, right? One really about sharing my deepest pain. The other one being worthy of all the pleasure his heart desires. I could see these two like not really getting along in different places. Right, so let's get to inviting ecstasy. Here we go. I am worthy of all the pleasure my heart desires. When ecstasy is invited, you feel aligned and ready to receive the miraculous and joyful gifts of experience the universe is ready to provide you. Ecstasy acts as a cosmic green light that grants your destiny permission to enter. In many instances, pain can be healed and released once a healthy relationship with pleasure is established. Worth it, right? So it feels like this twin flame, tumultuous, right? Painful, but you're not responsible for each other's pain. You're triggering each other's pain, which means the landmine was already there, under the ground. Somebody just dipped a toe in it. Boom, up it went. For your well-being, it's there to help you. I know it sucks ass, but that's how it is. This mantra is ideal for increasing self-worth. Who can't use that? Elevating levels of excitement and allowing bigger dreams. Allowing bigger dreams. Ace of Wands. Cool, cool, cool. Very, very lovely, making a lot of sense for this Virgo, but the Leo rising is dealing with this really, really, really well. And you know, if I am the Divine Feminine Knight, I don't often identify with the Knight archetype. Honestly, I have the Liberator archetype in my Sacred Contract spread. Really, read Sacred Contracts by Carolyn Mace. Brilliant book. I cast my chart decades ago. So what we're going to do now is we're going to finish off with 3 cards. And you know, if you know me, you know I love this deck, the Whispers of Love oracle, one for the divine feminine, one for the divine masculine, and one for the contract itself, just to give a little extra, the voices of the higher self, because the higher selves are essentially the actors, the soul, the higher power that embodies, right? Like the higher self of Markangelo Lyons, which I know my higher self's name, incarnated to become Markangelo Lyons. So I am both Elistariel, that's the name of my higher self, my angel name, if you will. I am both Elistariel and Markangelo Lyons. We are the hybrid. Elistariel, the heaven, Markangelo Lyons, the earth, literally an earth sign, together bringing heaven together with earth, integrating, making a whole new fifth dimensional unity consciousness paradigm. Yes. Now you see why relationships are so important. Let's do this. Nice deep breath. Oh, the higher selves of all involved, please. One card in clarity for the divine feminine, Knight archetype. In this Leo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for January 2020 or timeless, please. One card for this divine feminine, Knight archetype, divine feminine. All right, I'm not looking at them yet. I just sort of did, but we're not gonna again. One, please, for the divine masculine. While I am here, the divine masculine Liberator archetype in this Leo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Twin flame contract, January 2020. And timeless, please, the higher selves of all involved. One for the divine masculine in this Leo twin flamer, and one, please, for the higher selves of all involved, please. One card in clarity for this Leo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract, January 2020, though timeless. Shall we? For the divine feminine, what has she got? Act as if your partner is here. Whether you have someone in your life or not, act as if they are with you, so you will always consider them. You know, and this is the thing, if this is not romantic, if this is, for instance, parent-child, child-parent, right? There's so many different ways any relationship structure can play out, let alone a twin flame, that to really consider them, that you're not just getting away from them with this meditation and withdrawal. You're going into the part where all of you connect. So consider them. Act as if your partner is there. Particularly if there's no communication between the two of you, you can have conversations with them silently. I speak it out loud, but I do it in a prayerful, mindful way. Like, I'll talk to my child. Like, my child is like, you ready to have this conversation, sweetheart? I want you to say everything you've got to say to him, her, them, whoever, right? And because the person's not there, the child feels liberated to speak it. But always in that speaking, there is a confession and a healing where the child really just needs to have its voice heard and validated, not necessarily acted on. So there's a lot that you can run with on that one. Act as if your partner is here. Let's look for the divine masculine Liberator. Love endures. Love does not give up or lose faith. Love is hopeful and withstands every situation. This really feels like this Liberator is doing their best or has tried to do their best to help and serve this divine feminine Knight, but that it was sort of brutal, it was sort of rough. The pain that she went through, he may not have been completely equipped for, hence the twin flame. So both are learning how to accept themselves where they are, how to heal themselves where they are, how to love themselves where they are. But I'm going to say it couldn't have happened any other way. There's no need to feel guilt on this between the two of them, that this was so that they learned where they are in their own healing process, in becoming who they truly are, manifesting their own highest potential. But like if this was the rescuer archetype, I feel like it would have been worse. The rescuer is part of the healing family, the Liberator, not so much. So it's an interesting dynamic here. So love endures, and it does feel like with inviting ecstasy and that Ace of Wands that he's gonna get on with it. He's gonna endure and not give up faith on the path of true love, or in the path of healing. Right? This true love isn't always about romance either. By the way, it's just I use it in that context. But regardless of what this is, though the divine feminine may be walking away and the divine masculine may be moving on, that there is this thing of love endures. They can still very much love each other, by the way. Twin flames, like once you realize it's twin flame, doesn't mean you have to hate each other. That's not going to help. But that you can love each other by loving yourselves and respecting your own boundaries, therefore respecting theirs. It's just an easier way to go, because what if it is a family member or someone you're married to. You know what I mean? There's all sorts of ways to deal with these things. Last card for the contract itself. Turn on your heart light, let it shine wherever you go. Ouch. I know it's an E.T. reference, Neil Diamond. Allow yourself in this moment to reflect on a time when you experienced love, either together, right? When you're the other, it's like, yeah, I remember in the beginning, when I was a child, like if it's parent-child, or, you know, when they were born, parent-child, whatever. That open up your heart. Like, there is still love here. It just doesn't necessarily mean this relationship is going to satisfy you. That by opening up your own heart, you're going to show you, oh my God, I don't need circumstances to change in order to feel love here. That everybody is doing the best that they can. Everybody you meet. Be kind, everyone you meet is in a hard battle, something like that. I forget the exact quote. But a lovely last message here before we do the overview here. To turn on your heart light, to open that heart chakra. And to me, the best way to do that is not by denying what the heart chakra is feeling in the moment, but to love that child, right? To see your heart chakra as your own inner child. Give it the love it's asking for and let it have its voice. That opens it up. Do you remember a time we were ever in love with this person? Yeah, I do. Did you ever feel love for them? Yeah, I do. Can we feel that? I'm a little afraid. It's okay. You have that conversation. Let's do the overview. Magic clap. We start with the Divine Feminine, with the Knight archetype in the shadow attribute, allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, romantic delusions in the light attribute, loyalty, romance, and chivalry, a love of honor, which is really going to depend on that future card of how she's going to do that, but she'll make that decision in the now, because in the recent past we've got the Five of Blades, certainly mental confusion, the Hurricane, a lot of thoughts going on, a lot of changing thoughts, but perhaps in there, not just the Divine Feminine's own thoughts, but the toxic well-meaning of others, right? That be careful, you shouldn't, listening to advice that though well-meaning may not be the healthiest, which brings her to the Seven of Blades, that meditation, that stillness, that creating that space without conflict in the mind, allowing herself to sort of settle down and focus, but focus in a way that is more peaceful and serene, sort of watching the mind move, which is traditional meditation, but that eventually leads her to the Eight of Cups to withdraw. So whatever is received, whatever is revealed, whatever is integrated in this time of meditation, which makes sense after a hurricane, right, to let things settle, calls her inward more than away. Yes, there may be away from the Divine Masculine here, but certainly more inward. And with the mantra of when I share my deepest pain, I give myself permission to be sharing shame, with act as if your partner is here, whether you have someone in your life or not, act as if they are with you so you will always consider them. I do think that is a therapeutic, at least spiritual therapeutic healing process sort of laid out there a bit step by step. Looking at the Divine Masculine, we've got the Liberator archetype in the shadow, imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints. In the light, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. Really seeing that play out in this little mini spread. The Three of Cups in the past really says that in this twin flamer, he was having a good time, right? He was really enjoying himself, even though the relationship was in its initial stages only a 3, that there was a really good beginning here, perhaps allowed some of those pleasures to come through. But in the present moment with Temperance, perhaps there is a pulling back, right? Even in this card, the goddess Iris, the goddess of the dawn, right? With that card of Temperance, discipline, but also in the cards are lilies. So there is a potential here for true rebirth, but through discipline, perhaps pulling back, perhaps liberating the self from this relationship, or even from negative thought patterns. Moving the Divine Masculine into the Ace of Wands, a brand new impulse, a brand new desire, a brand new choice, a brand new decision, something calling him forth. And keep in mind in this card, that is Zeus with the golden fleece around his neck, on his shoulder, holding the world in his hand, seeing the larger picture, and issuing the new quest to eventually Jason of Jason and the Argonauts. The Inviting Ecstasy card for the mantra. I am worthy of all the pleasures my heart desires. And keeping in mind that word worthy is so important. It's not, I deserve all of the pleasures my heart desires. That can make someone incredibly toxic and domineering. I am worthy of all the pleasures my heart desires. Because that is truth. At core, we are all worthy of all the pleasure, the ecstasy, the bliss that our hearts desire. It's not a question of worth, right? We are divine children. The whisper of love here, love endures. Love does not give up or lose faith. Love is hopeful and withstands every situation. So this divine masculine liberator, should this contract be fulfilled and completed, where they never see each other again, you know, whatever this is, even if they're family members, they respect each other's boundaries, not going to stop loving, not going to stop walking the path of true love, becoming true love, though that is our true identity. The last card down, the contract itself, turn on your heart light. Allow yourself in this moment to reflect on a time when you experienced love. And now I'm getting not just with each other, but in general, like regardless of who you are in this twin flame reading, divine masculine or divine feminine, make it a practice to turn on your heart light, to allow yourself in this moment to reflect on a time when you experienced love. Love with another, love of God, love of nature, love of art, love of music, love of anything, love of life, love of self, to sort of not relight the pilot light. Your pilot light never goes out in your heart chakra, but perhaps to stoke the flame a little bit. Not just for this twin flame contract, which certainly that's a brilliant piece of guidance and grace for both of them, but for life in general. So there we have it, my Leo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. May the Leo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed in their twin flame contracts for January 2020 and beyond, to grow, to heal, to become the best that they can be and fulfill their role in the divine plan, myself included. And may it begin with me, for the well-being of all. And so it is. Thank you so very much for watching. It was my pleasure doing this reading for you. Please do like and subscribe. Check out the links in my description box below. There's a lot of cool stuff down there. I do curate my description box every single time I do a new series, so do take the time, check it out. Wishing you the very best and the very blessed Happy New Year of January 2020. But for now, my darling Leos, hail, farewell, and blessed be.